Welcome back to another Shields of Shame video, everyone. I hope you're well. In this video, we're doing an update on a cop that I have featured multiple times on this channel. His name is Hannsz. Currently at the Burke County Sheriff's Office. However, he was revoked last year in 2025. He is fighting his revocation, so it's gone to a higher level. So hopefully that will be resolved soon and we can report out the final action. You may remember Hannsz. He was part of the team that violated Jeremy Huffman.
I don't give a shit. Get down off the tree.
Loud music to loud noises, and
it's almost terroristic, some of the things that they do.
I mean, if you can get a recording of what they're saying, that goes, and we can listen to it and actually hear what they're saying.
Not to mention, I got a picture of him in the tree.
We're here. We don't care nothing else about anybody else. We're not trying to hurt anybody else. We're not trying to hurt anybody else.
People have been firing guns at my daughter and son-in-law. I've got grandbabies. They've been, so scared for years. And every October they come out here and do this, and I know they say it's a religious thing and whatever, but they've got armed guards. Burke County, y'all tried to come out here before, and they've said you're not allowed on the property without a warrant.
They're being loud, obnoxious, and trying to cuss us out and stuff like that, at least a damn disorderly at this point, because these people are just trying to do whatever they're doing, and they're bothering them.
They're violating multiple
Multiple times on the do anything.
The man who was filming from his tree on his property, documenting all of the chaos happening next door to him. By some rude neighbors. Drug out of the tree, onto religious property, arrested, and taken to jail. The update on that is, those charges were recently dropped. Jeremy has sold that home since, and moved away and is now living a peaceful life. Hannsz was also part of the big debacle with Tanner Balman.
If this was any resident in Burke County, they would be reported. I don't agree with it. So, in the most respectful way possible, if this is the route we're going to go, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to do this report. I don't want to be a part of this. And I'm not trying to disrespect either one of you, but if this is the route we're going because of who he is, I don't want to be a part of it.
Noted.
That's the course that the sheriff has advised us to do. So.
Absolutely, and I understand that. And that's why I'm saying that I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody out here. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful towards him. But I just know how it is, and if this was a different Burke County resident, it would not end this way.
That's the route we're gonna go.
Right. Like I said, I don't want to be a part of this. If you're telling me, hey, you're a lieutenant and you're going to make me be a part of it, that's fine. I'll do it. I'm not going to disrespect you, but if I had a choice, in all respect to both of you, I don't want to be a part of this.
We can address that later.
Of a domestic incident that took place where Tanner wanted to do the right thing and follow the law, which is rare. But the sheriff wasn't going for it and sent Hannsz out to remedy the situation and cover it all up. This led to Tanner Balman leaving the Burke County Sheriff's Office and joining the Richmond County Sheriff's Office in the Criminal Investigations Division, according to his post-training records. Hopefully he won't fall victim to the massive corruption that's going on at the Richmond County Sheriff's Office, and has been for years. Just because they got a new sheriff don't mean anything. They still got the same clowns working there. But now we fast forward to 2025 to the actual revocation hearing. For what, you might ask? It was from a 2018 DUI incident where Hannsz got caught up in a state patrol roadblock. And this fool activated his blue lights to get away from it. Got pulled over anyway and was arrested for DUI. And 7 years later, he's finally being held accountable. So let's jump into the interview and hear what Hannsz has to say about all of this. And don't forget, memberships start at 99 cents. It's an easy way to support the work that I do here because these records aren't cheap. Not even a little bit. and it helps me to continue to bring you cases you've never even heard of before. Things that were completely swept under the rug. So without further ado, let's get into this interview and hear what this clown has to say. Peace and love.
It says that a person, you may make an arrest. It doesn't say shall. It says may.
The family violence statute in the state of Georgia requires law enforcement to make an arrest if they are able to determine who was the predominant aggressor.
I really feel bad. It is so silly concocting that narrative. It's 100% fake news. Let me tell you this narrative very quickly. Fake. Let me tell you this narrative very quickly. Fake.
Okay, today's date is October 15th, 2025. The time is approximately 1:44 p.m. This is regarding post case number 007-246-1118. Aaron Hannsz. This pre-hearing conference is being held at the Georgia State Patrol Post 20 in Dublin, Georgia. Present for this PHC is Aaron Hannsz, his attorney Chad Medlin, and myself. I'm hearings investigator David Wilkins. We got the response from Ms. Medlin here, and basically, correct me if any of this is changed or not correct, but basically it says here in response to the case summary, Mr. Hannsz states as follows. I'm just going to read this out just so that it'll be on the record. I admit in part and deny in part allegations contained in the case summary and state as follows. Number one, I admit all allegations as stated occurring on 11/16/2018 with the exception of one item. The narrative states that I told my supervisor that, quote, I have a drinking problem, as you can tell, end quote. I do not recall using those exact words, but do admit that I made a statement concerning my alcohol use. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Number two, I admit all allegations as stated occurring on 11/27/2018. Is that correct? November 27th, 2018.
That's the day I resigned, I believe.
Okay, I admit all allegations as stated occurring on 2/16/2022.
I'm not familiar with dates.
Okay. Mr. Medlin, do you know offhand what that date is referencing?
So 11/16 was the actual date in question for which he was arrested for
Correct.
DUI.
It was actually November 14th.
Yes, November 14th. November 14th. No, now I've got November 16th.
November 16th.
November 16th.
I remember November 14th.
Okay.
I might be confused on my dates.
No, and that's fine, and we'll get it hammered out.
Clarify the dates.
That's right. Let's be accurate. I've got a copy in here, if I can lay my hands on it, of the citation. Okay, now the citation says November 15th, 2018.
After what time? After midnight?
21:10.
Okay, so.
9/10.
Yeah, so we're both wrong.
All right, let me back up. Well, the trooper's report says November 16th, 2018 at 20:50, so 8:50. And then the citation says November 15th at 21:10.
Court record says.
What does the court record say?
November 15th, 1/5.
Okay, so the citation.
Then going back to number 2 on November 27th, 18, Officer Hannsz voluntarily resigned. That's what he admitted in that second paragraph.
Okay, on the 11/27/18.
That's correct.
References the resignation.
And then on July 12th of 2021, Officer Hannsz pled guilty to amended charge of misdemeanor reckless driving.
Right.
That is correct.
Okay. All right, number 4 here I admit I submitted a statement to post, but deny it was attached to the recommendation to counsel I received in detailing this response. Help me with that now.
Post never sends out the letter, and every one that I've ever gotten, they always say see attachment A, and they never send the actual statement that the officer submits, usually without my involvement. You're talking about the initial investigation.
Well, that's what I'm curious. I was just curious what you're referencing here in number 4.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you're fine. In that last paragraph on the case summary, it says, as part of the post investigation, Officer Hannsz was offered an opportunity to provide a statement to the post investigator. See attachment A.
Okay.
And there was no attachment to this case summary.
Okay.
So I could not admit, or he could not admit, that there was actually anything attached to that case summary.
I'll follow that now. Do you recall maybe not making writing a statement? Did you recall talking with the post investigator?
I never spoke to the post investigator. I did submit a written statement when I got a letter.
Okay.
And I sent it certified mail to make sure he received it.
Okay. All right. All right, and let's see, here on page 2, we'll just pass over the disciplinary history and the criminal history. That's not at issue. Violation, I admit I violated OCGA 35.8.7.1, subsection 6 and 7, and should be sanctioned accordingly. However, the recommended sanction of revocation is too severe and unjustified for the offense I committed.
Correct.
Okay, is that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Pertaining to those that we just talked about, so do you admit that you were drinking alcohol in your patrol car in Richmond County, Georgia on 11/15/2018?
Yes.
Okay. Do you admit that you registered .088 on the PBT?
That's a little thing, handheld thing.
Yeah.
I never saw what it registered, but I was told that I did register.
Okay. Do you admit that you were charged with DUI, less safe, alcohol, and open container?
Yes.
And that those are violations of Georgia law?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And you admit that you entered a guilty plea to the reduced charge of reckless driving, and the charge of open container was dismissed as part of the plea agreement?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and we just talked about OCGA 35.8-7.1, 6 and 7. On the day that this occurred, what was your shift that day?
I had came in at 8:30 in the morning, worked all day. We had done some forensic work on some cell phones, tracking some, trying to track down, I believe it was threats at a high school.
Okay.
And got off about 12. It was 8:30, 8:45
p.m.
Yes.
Okay.
About 12 hours, because we came in at 8:30.
Gotcha.
I always got in about 7:30 because I'm just an early person.
Okay. So at the time you were an investigator with
Yes.
Richmond County?
Yes.
All right. Now, help me understand how Richmond County does things, because everybody does things different.
Understood.
Now,
That's a loaded question.
Right.
Understood.
So, as an investigator, do you have a regular shift, or are you called out, or what's the procedure?
I was in Monday through Friday. I worked in the forensics unit. I did cell phone tracking, mapping, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
My regular shift was Monday through Friday, but I was subject to be called in anytime.
Okay.
And this was an actual work day, though. It was supposed to be 8:30 to 5, but
okay.
Like anything in law enforcement, you stay until it's done.
Yeah. Okay. So normally your shift was 8:30 to 5.
Yes, sir.
On this particular date, it went at least 3.5 hours over.
Yeah, I'd say around 8:30.
Right, and I'm not trying to nitpick times. I'm just trying to get an idea.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Is there a procedure when you start the day? Do you radio in? Do you call in, say that you're in service, or do you just show up to work?
We just show up to work.
Okay. All right. And when you're done for the day, you just leave when you're done, or is there contact radio and let them know, or what's the procedure with that?
Just drive home.
Okay. And that's typical. All right. The alcohol that you had in the car, Aaron, where was that purchased?
There's a liquor store, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's right there on the corner of Bayville Drive and Highway 25, Peach Orchard Road.
All right. What city is that in?
Augusta.
Okay. When was that purchased?
Purchased it on the way home.
Okay. All right. Do you recall about what time that would have been?
After I left work, prior to 9 o'clock, 8:45.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right. Approximately 8:45.
Yeah, that's my best
guess.
guess.
Is that fair?
Best guess.
Okay. All right. I went back and looked at the troopers' report, and this that we went over in item number 1, that met the allegations. We updated the date to 11/15, and it says that, with the exception of one item, the narrative states that I told my supervisor that I have a drinking problem, as you can tell. I do not recall using those exact words, but do admit that I made a statement concerning my alcohol use. Okay. I went back and looked at the trooper's report, and that was actually misstated by the post investigator. The actual trooper's report says that basically that statement was made in his presence, that you did not make that to your supervisor. And I think that's what the objection here was, that you didn't. Narrative states I told my supervisor. Well, I agree it was not your supervisor. It was apparently Trooper Dustin Stone who was standing there. So that clarifies that. All right. That is essentially what I wanted to clear up. What would you like to make sure that the council is aware of? Basically, I'm just opening up the floor. Anything if you want to tell the story of what happened that night, or whatever you want to do, this is your opportunity here.
Unfortunately, the story speaks for itself. We've already established what happened that night.
Mm-hmm.
What I'd like to point out is what I've done since then. After this issue, I took some paralegal course from University of Georgia to try to continue my involvement in law enforcement in some way. On August of 2022, I was contacted by a supervisor I used to work with who worked for another agency, and he asked me if I wanted to come back to work in the Burke County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. Who was that?
He's he just retired as a colonel, and he just got sworn in back up in Richmond County. So I don't know what his rank is now. Jimmy
Okay.
Wiles.
Jimmy. What's his last name? Wiles.
Wildes, I believe.
Okay. So Wiles contacted you asking if you wanted to get back into law enforcement?
Yes. Just to fill in the gap, after I left Richmond County, after finishing the paralegal course, I got hired it's a defunct company now. It was a cybersecurity startup. It's called Rendition InfoSec, and I was doing cybersecurity from 2019 until August 2022, when I went to work for the Burke County Sheriff's Office. They started laying people off, so when Jimmy called me, I kind of accepted as, because I kind of needed a job.
Okay.
Not kind of, I did need a job.
Right.
I started in August 2022 at the Burke County Sheriff's Office. The following year, August 2023, I got promoted to sergeant. And then in August of 2024, I got promoted to lieutenant. And I've been in charge, I've been the watch commander on my shift now since then. I've taken, I went to the CIT course. I've taken several courses since then. CIT, the critical incident team. I know I can't get any certification on it right now, but I did have supervision level 1, 2, and 3 since then. I felt I had a lot more to give to law enforcement. I'm older in age, but I can impart knowledge and experience to younger guys and train them properly, make sure they're doing the right job, make sure they're handling themselves safely. And that's my intent now, since I can't do as physically, I can't do as much as I used to do, but I feel I have a lot more to give, and I just wanted the opportunity to continue giving that.
Tell me again, what was it that you specialized in that you were doing at Richmond?
Cell phone forensics.
Cell phone forensics.
Extraction. Specifically, what it started was mapping, the triangulation off the cell phone towers. That's what I started doing, and I originally started doing it by hand with a protractor, ruler, and a compass that I bought myself because my command didn't agree with it. And once they saw that it actually had some value, they started supporting me in it. I got tired of my supervisor in the CID telling me to get phone records. I get the phone records. I have no idea what to do with them.
Right.
So I made it a point to learn.
Okay. When did you start at Burke?
August 15th of 2022.
Anything else?
Not that I can't think of anything specific.
Okay.
I'm lost.
What's your
Never thought I'd be in this position.
I understand.
Explain your alcohol use since 2019.
None. I did struggle for the first couple months. I did have a couple beers here and there. And then I realized I redirected my thoughts in the fact that, I started going to AA for a while, and I redirected I concentrated, picked up hobbies. One of my biggest hobbies now is gardening, working in flowers and stuff like that. October of 2019 was the last time I had something to drink. Matter of fact, what is it, the 19th? It'll be 6 years. It'll be 6 years in 4 days. Last time I had something to drink. Outside of gardening, spend a lot of time with my grandkids. I want to be around to see them grow up.
All right. All right. Did you have an alcohol problem at the time of the incident?
I believe I did.
Okay.
I believe I still do.
How much
I don't drink.
Right. How much would you say that you drank on any given basis back then?
Back then, it'd be nothing. Put almost a whole fifth of Bacardi down.
In what time period?
In the 24-hour period. No, that wasn't every day, but
right,
2 or 3 times a week.
Okay. So you went from maybe a fifth at a sitting 2 to 3 times a week, approximate, 6 years ago, but you haven't had anything to drink. On the 19th will be your 6-year anniversary.
That's
Got
correct.
that right?
That's correct. I'll be sober 6 years on October 19th. I had to think about that on the way on down here. I knew it was in October. I just couldn't remember what day.
Right. You got anything else?
Not that I can think of.
Mr. Balman?
Other than the letters that I got from
Okay.
my command.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna address those. So as Aaron said, he went to work in Burke County in 2002.
Right.
And his entire command staff thinks so much of him that each of them wrote separate letters. One was who he was talking about, Jimmy Wiles, who is now in Richmond County, but he was the colonel over the detention and court services at the time. Secondly was Chad Pluger, who was the colonel currently at Burke County. Third is Major Brandon Reeves, obviously a major there at Burke County. And then last but not least was Captain Ashley there at Burke County.
Okay.
All of these guys I know quite well. Oddly enough, as long as Aaron was, that's your copy there,
Okay.
Lisa. As long as Aaron was at Richmond County, somehow our paths never crossed. I started out as a prosecutor in Augusta, Richmond County before I went into private practice. I handled his underlying criminal case and counseled with him throughout, explained to him the process of post, and everything came to fruition except for the length of time. However, if there's a silver lining in anything, it is the length of time has allowed him to get a grasp on life, his sobriety, and 6 years of sobriety, coupled by the fact that he's back in law enforcement, and that this is the only blemish, albeit a big one, that it's the only blemish on his record. As I told Aaron, just like I tell all my clients, you can dang near commit murder and get and keep your post certification unless you lie about it. And I know that's an extreme example, but credibility is everything.
Credibility is everything, and there's issues now with Giglio lists and Brady lists and things like that. So it's.
And so you've got a situation where you've got one blemish. I've got countless former clients and know countless officers who have had DUIs and they're still actively involved in law enforcement, police level, the sheriff's department. So I think Aaron certainly has learned from this. He has a lot to give to the law enforcement community, especially in a time where we can't hardly find anybody, at least good candidates other than heartbeats and warm bodies to come into the law enforcement field. He's a highly intelligent guy. He has actually done some private work for me in some of my civil cases, and so I've actually had firsthand knowledge of what he is capable of doing, especially with the cell phone forensics. We would be remiss to revoke his certification, in my opinion. He's just one of those top tier performers, and I think Aaron, and I am speaking for him as his representative, but I think he would dang near accept anything probation wise to be able to keep his certification. I know my past experience with other clients, we've typically seen things from anywhere from a 12-month probation sentence to a 36-month. Now, in my opinion, he's been on probation for the last 6 years. Obviously, his case has been under review that entire time. And even though he could not get the credit for these classes, it never stopped him from attending, from learning, and striving in his profession. So I think he's a tremendous asset to law enforcement, not only Burke County, but any agency that he could become part of.
I don't have anything else. If you don't have anything else, let me get this. Go ahead and get this turned off. All right, the time is approximately 2:17 p.m. and I will turn off the recorders now.